Welcome to the Resilience Lounge, the podcast dedicated to helping you navigate the modern workplace. The term itself can make you cringe. It conjures images of backstabbing, gossip, and manipulative power plays. But what if I told you that office politics isn't inherently evil? What if instead it's a neutral tool, a system that, once understood, can be navigated ethically to not only advance your career, but also to make a positive impact on your organization? Today, we're diving deep into the world of workplace dynamics. Our topic is navigating office politics, playing the game without losing yourself. We'll define what office politics really is, explore strategies to engage constructively, and importantly, discuss how cultural backgrounds can shape these interactions. So let's get started. First, let's redefine the term. Office politics, at its core, is simply the interplay of power, influence, and relationships within an organization. It's the informal structure that exists alongside the formal organizational chart. It dictates how decisions really get made, how resources are allocated, and whose voices are heard. Many people believe the best strategy is to simply put your head down, do good work, and ignore the politics. They think that merit alone will ensure their success. Unfortunately, that's a dangerous assumption. Ignoring office politics doesn't make you immune to it. It just makes you a bystander and often a victim of it. It's crucial to distinguish between healthy and toxic politics. Toxic politics involves manipulation, spreading rumors, sabotaging others, and forming exclusionary cliques. This is the behavior that gives the concept its bad name, and it should be avoided at all costs. It destroys trust and creates a fearful environment. Healthy politics, on the other hand, is about building alliances to support good projects. It's about understanding the motivations of your colleagues and managers to better frame your proposals. It's about ensuring your hard work gets the visibility it deserves. Think of it as organizational awareness. It's about understanding the unwritten rules of the road so you can navigate your career journey safely and effectively. But what happens when you find yourself in a workplace where toxic politics are the norm? It's a tough situation, but you're not powerless. The first step is to recognize the signs. Are you constantly being left out of important conversations? Do you feel like you have to watch your back? Is there a culture of blame instead of a culture of accountability? These are all red flags. So, what can you do? First, protect yourself. Document everything. If you have a conversation where you feel undermined, send a follow up email summarizing the discussion. This creates a paper trail. Second, build a coalition of allies. You are likely not the only one feeling this way. Find colleagues you trust and share your experiences. There is strength in numbers. Third, focus on your own performance. Make sure your work is impeccable. This makes it harder for others to criticize you. And finally, know when to escalate. If the toxic behavior is affecting your mental health or your ability to do your job, it's time to go to HR or a trusted manager. Frame your concerns objectively with specific examples and focus on the impact on the business. Let's delve deeper into some specific archetypes of toxic colleagues you might encounter. Recognizing these players is the first step to neutralizing their impact. First, there's the gaslighter. This person will deny past statements, question your memory of events, and manipulate situations to make you doubt your own sanity. For example, after a meeting where you agreed on a course of action, they might later claim the conversation never happened, leaving you looking unreliable. To counter this, always create a written record. Follow up verbal agreements with an email saying, just to confirm our conversation, we agreed to X, Y, and Z. This creates an objective record that is hard to dispute. Another common toxic player is the credit thief. They are masters at positioning themselves to take credit for your work. You might share an innovative idea with them in confidence, only to see them presented as their own in the next team meeting. The best defense here is proactive visibility. Don't do your work in a silo. Share your progress and ideas in public forums, team meetings, status reports, and shared documents. Use we when talking about team efforts, but don't be afraid to say I when referring to your specific contributions. For example, I was able to solve the coding bug, which unblocked the rest of the team to move forward. Finally, beware the rumor monger. This individual thrives on drama and gossip. They create and spread rumors to undermine others, build their own informal power, and create a climate of fear. Engaging with them is a trap. If you listen, you become complicit. If you share information, it will be twisted and used against you. The most effective strategy is to create a gossip free zone around yourself. When someone starts to gossip, politely disengage. You can say something like, I'm not really comfortable talking about colleagues behind their backs, or simply change the subject. Over time, rumor mongers will learn that you are not a receptive audience for their toxicity. By refusing to participate, you help to break the cycle of negativity. So, how do you start to understand this invisible landscape? The first step is observation. Before you act, you must become a student of your workplace environment. Map out the key players. Who holds formal power? The executives, the department heads. Now, who holds informal power? This might be the executive assistant who has the leader's ear, the veteran engineer everyone consults for advice, or the cheerful person from marketing who knows everyone. Informal influencers are often the gatekeepers of information and relationships, and their support can be more valuable than a manager's. Pay attention to communication networks. Who eats lunch together? Who gets invited to the impromptu coffee run? Who do people turn to when a crisis hits? These informal networks are where information is exchanged, alliances are formed, and consensus is built long before the official meeting takes place. Recognizing these patterns helps you understand how influence truly flows. Also, be aware of common political games. There's the credit thief who takes your ideas, the information hoarder who withholds key details to maintain an advantage, and the gatekeeper who controls access to important people or resources. Identifying these behaviors isn't about becoming cynical, it's about being prepared so you can protect your work and your reputation. Once you've observed the landscape, it's time to engage. But how do you do it ethically? Here are a few core strategies. First, and most importantly, build your social capital. Social capital is the goodwill, trust, and mutual respect you have with your colleagues. The best way to build it is to be genuinely helpful. Offer your expertise, share useful information, and support your colleagues' projects. Be reliable, be positive, and be a good listener. When you give before you get, you build a network of allies who will be there to support you when you need it. This isn't about transactional favor trading, it's about fostering authentic professional relationships. Second, manage your visibility. It's not enough to do great work. People need to know about it. This isn't about bragging, it's about strategic communication. In team meetings, don't just state what you did, explain the impact it had. When you send a project update email, briefly highlight a key success. Volunteer for cross functional projects that give you exposure to different departments and leaders. By making your contributions visible, you build a reputation for competence and value, making you a go to person for interesting opportunities. Third, seek to understand motivations. Every person in your workplace is driven by a unique set of goals, pressures, and priorities. What does your boss care about most? Is it meeting budget targets, innovation, or team harmony? What are your colleagues' career aspirations? When you propose a new idea, don't just talk about why it's good for you or your team. Frame it in terms of how it helps others achieve their goals. Show your boss how your project will save money. Show your colleague how your collaboration will give them a chance to develop a new skill. When you align your interests with others, you create a win win scenario that is far more persuasive than simply pushing your own agenda. And finally, choose your battles. Not every disagreement is a hill worth dying on. In a political environment, your political capital is a finite resource. Don't waste it on minor issues. Before you challenge a decision or push back on a project, ask yourself, how important is this issue to me and the company? What are the potential consequences of winning or losing this fight? Is there a compromise to be found? Focus your energy on the issues that truly matter and where you can make a real difference. Sometimes the smartest political move is to concede on a small point to build goodwill for a larger battle down the road. Beyond these day to day strategies, there's a powerful tool that can accelerate your ability to navigate the political landscape: mentorship and sponsorship. A mentor is someone who can give you advice, share their experiences, and help you see the bigger picture. They can be your confidential sounding board, helping you decode difficult situations and make wise decisions. A good mentor can explain the unwritten rules of your organization and help you avoid political landmines. But even more powerful is a sponsor. A sponsor is a senior leader who will not just give you advice, but will actively advocate for you. They will use their influence to get you on high visibility projects, recommend you for promotions, and defend you when you're not in the room. Finding a mentor is often a matter of reaching out to someone you admire and asking for guidance. Sponsorship, on the other hand, is earned. You earn a sponsor by consistently delivering excellent results and by making your value visible. It's a powerful alliance and one that can make all the difference in your career. Now, let's add another layer of complexity: culture. In our increasingly globalized workplaces, it's vital to recognize that the rules of office politics are not universal. Different cultural backgrounds profoundly influence how people perceive power, build relationships, and communicate. What is considered savvy political skill in one culture might be seen as rude or inappropriate in another. One of the key frameworks for understanding this is the concept of high context versus low context cultures. In low context cultures, like those in the United States, Germany, or Scandinavia, communication is expected to be direct, explicit, and clear. People say what they mean, and business relationships are often built on performance and results. Self promotion, when backed by facts, is generally accepted. However, in high context cultures, found in many parts of Asia, the Middle East, and Latin America, communication is more indirect and nuanced. The context, body language, tone of voice, and established relationships is just as important as the words spoken. Building trust and rapport over time is essential before any real business can be done. Pushing your agenda too directly can be seen as aggressive and disrespectful. Another dimension is power distance. This refers to how a society accepts unequal distribution of power. In high power distance cultures, there is a clear respect for hierarchy. You would not typically challenge your boss publicly or approach a senior leader without a formal introduction. In contrast, in low power distance cultures, organizations are often flatter. Employees feel more comfortable speaking up, questioning authority, and engaging directly with senior management. Similarly, concepts like individualism versus collectivism play a huge role. In individualistic cultures, personal achievements are celebrated. Saying, I led this project is expected. In collectivistic cultures, group harmony and team success are paramount. Highlighting your individual contribution could be seen as arrogant. The preferred phrasing is always, we achieved this result. The key takeaway here is not to stereotype, but to be aware. When working in a multicultural team, your best tools are observation and curiosity. Pay attention to how your colleagues interact. Ask clarifying questions. Adapt your style to be respectful of others' norms, but do so without compromising your core values. This cultural intelligence is a critical skill for navigating politics in the modern workplace. We've received a lot of great questions from our listeners, and I'd like to take a moment to answer a couple of them. Our first question comes from a listener named Mark, who works remotely. He asks, does office politics still matter when you're not physically in the office? That's a great question, Mark. The answer is a resounding yes. In a remote environment, politics can be even more subtle and more potent. It happens in Slack channels, in who gets invited to which video calls, and in the visibility of your contributions on shared documents. The strategies we've discussed today are just as important for remote workers. You still need to build relationships, be visible, and understand the dynamics of your team. In fact, you may need to be even more intentional about it because you don't have the benefit of informal chats by the water cooler. Our second question is from Sarah, who describes herself as an introvert. She asks, how can I navigate office politics without feeling like I have to be a loud, extroverted person? Sarah, this is a fantastic point. The good news is that introverts have a natural advantage in office politics. You are likely a great observer and a deep thinker. Use that to your advantage. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to have influence. You can build deep one-on-one relationships, which are often more powerful than having a large, superficial network. You can make your contributions in writing through well-crafted emails and reports. And in meetings, you don't have to talk a lot, but when you do, make it count. A well-timed, insightful comment can be more powerful than 10 minutes of empty chatter. So embrace your introverted strengths. They are your secret weapon in the world of office politics. So, as we wrap up, how do you play this complex game without losing yourself? The answer lies in authenticity and integrity. Your professional reputation is your most valuable asset, and it's built on trust. Never engage in behavior that contradicts your personal values. Don't gossip. Don't lie. Don't make promises you can't keep. Ethical office politics is not about becoming a different person. It's about becoming a more self aware, socially intelligent version of yourself. Remember, office politics is a tool, it's the mechanism through which things get done. By understanding it, you can use it to champion great ideas, build supportive coalitions, get access to the resources you need, and advance your career based on your merits. By ignoring it, you risk being sidelined by those who are more politically astute. The goal isn't to be the most ruthless player, but the most effective and respected one. It's about building bridges, not burning them. It's about influence, not manipulation. And with that, we've reached the end of today's discussion. A huge thank you for choosing to spend your valuable time with us here at the Resilience Lounge. We truly appreciate you lending us your ears and your attention. Your support means the world to us, and it's what keeps this podcast going. If today's topic resonated with you, please consider helping us grow by liking, sharing, and following us. A heart or a review on your favorite podcast platform makes a huge difference. Until next time, thank you once again for being part of our community.